So in that way, you really do sell your story. I mean, you're so damn low profile about all of this, like you don't want to.
Well, it's not a business. I'm just relaying, what happened to me at the time, and that's it. That's the end of the story, and where it's gone and why how all this stuff came about is beyond my scope of knowledge, and I don't profess to know anything that I haven't been exposed to, but I will stand on what I have seen, and
I've got that. But I mean, as incredulous as it sounds, why not believe other incredulous things? I mean, if there are saucers here, if there were bodies recovered, if we actually have aliens, then certainly some of the stories about aliens could easily be true.
Well, and maybe so, but
you don't know.
Art, I'm spoiled.
Yep.
I had some things verified to me and had hands-on experience. I got to touch them, I got to see them, I got to analyze them and said, okay, this is real. Now, for the layman or researcher or whatever that hasn't, everything is in the same category to them. It's all conjecture. Yet I've had some things proven to me, and I hold on to those like an anchor. Okay, I know this is real, but I don't know about anything else. I don't know if Betty and Barney Hill were abducted, but they have a compelling story. I don't know if the Roswell crash occurred, but that's a compelling story. Some of the stories you hear are totally illogical and don't make sense, and to me, they fit in the category, you try and maintain an open mind and remain scientific about it, but there, you have prejudices in either direction, as most intelligent people do. And, there's, I don't believe everybody that says they were abducted was abducted. But they might have been. How would I know? It's just my own personal beliefs.
No, of course not. I don't believe it all either, Bob. Or even, I might even go as far as say large chunks of it that I don't believe. But some of this I do believe is true, and based on what you saw and to be true, then it's not too hard to imagine that there was interaction. We might not know the exact parameters of that interaction, but there was interaction with aliens.
Chances are there was, in some way, shape, or form over a period of time. By the way, on another note, I get so many emails about this. Apparently in some other show, and I just got 3 more recently. Yeah. Some other show, you spoke to somebody, a female, that said, they claimed that I took her out to Area 51 and showed her around.
That's right.
Does this ring a bell to you?
Oh, absolutely. I remember that. Yes.
This is the most ridiculous story I've ever heard.
So that didn't happen either, huh?
As if they allow visitors to top-secret security installations. That's absurd. Who would even claim something like that? In either case, that's, it's just another one of those knuckleheads that just likes to hear themselves talk for some reason.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I had an email from this person just yesterday, Bob.
Really?
Yes, she imagines quite a relationship with you.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Not true, though.
No.
First time caller line. You're on the air with Bob LAZAR. Yo-ho.
Okay. I'm calling because I'm a physics student in
all right, speak up good and loud.
Oh, okay.
That's better.
I'm calling about the gravitational amplifier system. I'm interested in this because I'm a physics student, and I was thinking that kind of at the forefront of physics research now is kind of a push to detect gravitational waves, and which is a tough thing to do, and probably ultimately discover the gravitational particle, the graviton. And I was thinking about this 3-pole system that you described as very directional, and maybe a gravitational current is involved. I was wondering if that maybe hints at why we can't figure out what is going on there. You have any thoughts on that?
Well, this is more of the research I wanted to conduct while I wanted to get down to the hardcore research in gravity and how the energy propagates by itself. And by the way, I don't believe there are gravitons. I don't believe there's particles involved. I don't believe it's even a wave-particle duality, like light photons are. I think this is Well, it appears to be more of a wave effect, and exactly how it propagates is, at least I don't personally understand that. It almost seemed to propagate as microwaves did, since anytime inside the craft, the gravity, the basic gravity wave was routed anywhere from the reactor to the amplifiers. It always traveled inside tuned pipes. So, again, that implies at a specific frequency you should have some sort of gravitational effect if it's just a basic, carrier wave of some sort. But, that doesn't appear to be true. So it's something more than that.
Well, we know, don't we, that microwave can be carried in like oblong tubes, right? Waveguide?
Right, exactly, waveguides. And
So
that's what connected the reactor to the skin of the craft and ultimately to the...
So then whatever the nature of this wave is, you could imagine it like microwave because it was carried, according to your physical description, kind of the same way.
Right, but if it's just a basic wave, you could just set up a high-frequency oscillator, and then as you slowly increase the frequency, you get different effects. You get microwave, and it's all part of the electromagnetic spectrum, and you can get X-rays and whatever, and you should just run into gravity at some point, but you don't. So there's something else there, but they were so concerned about the actual application of it, they weren't really concerned about, the research into the basics of it, which... probably if it would have been done that way when I was there, I think it would have given us a clue, at least a better clue, of how to use it and how to duplicate it.
But again, you think, Bob, don't you, that they're now still, if they haven't done it, they're certainly pursuing it. You wouldn't give up on something like that, would you?
Are you kidding? Not a chance.
Not a chance.
I'm sure just tremendous amounts of money are being funneled into this, and
so then
I'm sure they continue to handpick specific people that they can think anyway are going to keep their mouths closed and be involved with it. But there was a frustration even when I got there.
By the way, I wonder what happened to the person that picked you.
It's a good question.
Hey, caller, anything else?
Yeah, actually, I was wondering if Bob has it. I'm sorry, Mr. LAZAR. I shouldn't.
That's Bob is mine. Mr. LAZAR is my dad.
I was wondering if you had any thoughts as to the propagation speed of the wave. We know light travels at a certain speed,
right?
Or at least we assume it's a constant speed. Do you think that gravity is different?
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, excellent question. Because from all indications, the propagation is instantaneously, and I know that upsets everything. But remember, gravity in itself distorts time and space, and every way we attempted to measure the propagation from the reactor base to the emitters themselves, there was no delay at all. And so, I believe that I don't know if the wave is actually propagating instantly, or the fact that it's a gravitational wave is distorting the time-space around it and making it appear as it's an instantaneous propagation. But those are the results that we got.
Bob, you said you actually measured no delay at all. How carefully was that measured? I mean, no delay at all is quite a statement to make. You could measure this,
right?
So
there was no delay at all, and we. Again, envisioned other potential uses. Here's
I'm sure.
Look at communication to Mars is still a flat 20 minutes between our little robot orbiters and things of that sort. Here you have the potential, if in fact there is instantaneous propagation of gravitational waves, here's a fantastic communication device where there's no delay, where you can talk in real time at great distances. So obviously there's just tremendous implications of this technology.
Even time travel.
It's possible. Gravity distorts time, and
if the speed of gravity, which is not defined, is faster than light, then you certainly have time travel based on that alone.
Well, like they say, time travel is a lot more common than you think. Time travel to the future happens all the time. All you have to do
is stand there.
is stand on a high mountain, go into a spacecraft, travel fast. You do slip nanoseconds into the future. Time travel backwards is debatable whether or not that's even possible.
Well,
but,
we're off on a tangent. Caller, any final thing?
I guess there's one other thing. You noticed you mentioned an element 115. I'm assuming that's atomic mass number, and I think that goes further than the periodic table. Is that true?
Right, that's correct.
So, maybe that kind of insinuates that you're dealing with a higher amplitude gravity waves, and just, I guess, more to start off with if you're going to amplify it. I mean,
well, yeah, there's something unique about that element. Just like there's something unique about the nuclear elements we use in reactors, but something apparently happens different there that doesn't, and I know there were previous attempts to duplicate what was going on with other materials, other nuclear materials, and there was no success in that. So there is something very unique about the fuel, and specifically what it is. On an atomic scale, we were only just beginning to look into that. So,
Bob, I heard some rumors about some scientists speculating about, or perhaps lab work going on, something surrounding element 115. It's just, between when you told your story and now, sometime or another, I remember hearing about some legit science dabbling with the concept of 115 or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I believe it was the Lab for Heavy Ion Research in Darmstadt, Germany, and at the time they were on the cutting edge of coming up with new elements, and they were shooting for producing element 115 at one point, and they were using a new technique. Instead of bombarding something with neutrons, they were just slamming nuclei together, and somehow it was fusing into heavier elements. But I don't think they reached it, and in fact, I don't know if it was the same lab, but somebody found out that there was false data. I mean, the last heavy element that was claimed, that might have been 113 or.
What do we think? What do we think the properties of this element would be generally?
Well, that's hard to predict. I mean, we certainly observed some unique properties of it. It's incredibly heavy and incredibly dense. Aside from that, the way the reactor worked in the craft was like a small accelerator, and it constantly bombarded the 115, which transmuted and immediately decayed, and that's when it produced its gravitational pulses. And as a byproduct, it produced a tremendous amount of heat. And inside this one...
Listen.
Okay.
All right, we're at the bottom of the hour. Hold on. This is really good stuff. Bob LAZAR is my guest from the mountains of New Mexico, directly to you and with you right now. Here is Bob LAZAR. Bob?
Yes.
You ready for more?
Sure.
Yeah, these are pretty good. And you were in the middle of... I don't want to miss out on anything else you'd like to say about the propulsion system and how element 115 was acting in the process.
I was on a roll at the minute, and now I can't quite.
Well, you remember you said it was hitting element 115.
Oh, how the reactor operated. I guess I drifted onto that, and how the 115 itself was bombarded, released in some way, shape, or form, releases a pulse of a gravitational wave, and kind of as a byproduct, releases a tremendous amount of heat, and that heat is converted to electricity, which runs the craft. However, there's no wiring or any conventional connectors or controls or anything of that sort on the craft. But all incredibly fascinating, and to a scientist, it's a dream come true. So yeah, sure. In some respects, I regret the way things turned out, but I don't know. Maybe eventually we'll all find out what's going on.
Yeah, I wonder. I really wonder, as the world grows short of oil and the wars are raging because of it, and we prepare to go back to the moon, maybe in the shuttle of all things. I don't know. It just seems like if all of this really is there, and yet I guess the answer is that you suggest we have, as of, the date you knew anyway, not been successful in the back engineering attempt, so we don't have it down yet, or if we do, for some reason we're not willing to begin to release it. I mean, you'd think they could do it through industry, you know, sort of sliding things slowly into industry as some development or something, just to get it into the economy.
Possibly. And maybe that's already been